Let me see, this is working. Let's see, this is on. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hold on. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jacob Cast 2024. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below you guys want to see more. Enjoy this live stream. It'll be like an hour and 10 minutes. It may be short than the last video that I made. But we're gonna talk about WWE Smackdown. We still got 1 week until Saturday night's main event. I think Halloween Havoc is tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow on Saturday, so I think I will do that. I think I will show some of the matches on that show. But right now we're gonna talk about Smackdown. Now my video is sponsored by PlayStation. I got more on the way, so hit that like button. Leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Enjoy this video. My video is sponsored by Jade from New York, Salamander Sound Off, Fightful Pro Wrestling, and other podcasters that I know of. Smackdown was alright. Well, not really. I think the only big thing was that Jade may have turned heel on Tiffany. We had Jimmy Uso and Drew McIntyre in a no DQ. And Ilya Dragunov's open challenge. And that's about it. Now, make sure you guys enjoy this video. Alright. Now, this is the show opened up. Obviously, Cody Rhodes opened up the show. And then Drew McIntyre came out, they interacted. And then Jimmy Uso was on the show. The first match was the MTs. I think with Tonga Loa and MJ and JC Mateo against Nakamura and Ray Phoenix. Obviously, Ray Phoenix not on the game, so I had to use Asum. And they don't have JC Mateo on the game yet. But the MSCs won, they look strong. Nakamura and Ray Phoenix were not going over, so of course they're going to lose here. But Solo and the rest of them got involved and helped the rest of the MT win this match. I don't think we saw the Y6, but they clearly building up the MT very, very strong to confront the Y6 probably next week. We got Tiffany Stratton non-title versus I think Katana James, and Tiffany won. And then I think her and I think Julia and Katana jumped her. And then Jade came out, and that's when Jade turned heel on Tiffany. By the time something new and something different happens, something interesting going on SmackDown, Jade needs a character change, and I think it's worth it. I think it's necessary. Hype up the feud, make it more interesting, because there's no one that Tiffany can feud with. We still don't know when Bianca's gonna come back. Nia Jax, she can be feuding with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. Tiffany, she's still feuding with Jade. Hopefully this is a heel turn. I'm glad that is. See what they can do with that. Then we got the U.S. Open Challenge with Ilya Dragunov versus Aleister Black. Now Aleister's not on the game, so I used Nathan Fraser. But Dragunov did retain. He beat Aleister Black with the help of Damian Priest, because Damian got involved and screwed Black in this title match. So Dragunov did retain. Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso in a no DQ match. Obviously, Drew McIntyre got the win. Don't know why Jey Uso was on SmackDown. What's he got to do with the SmackDown show? When he's on Raw, he got to worry about his brother. Shows you how slim the SmackDown main roster is. After Drew won, he tapped Jimmy. Cody came out trying to help him, but he beat up Cody Rhodes. Drew McIntyre stood tall, and that's how this show went off the air. Goldberg hates women in WWE. Okay, so Jimmy Uso initiated brawl with McIntyre earlier in the show. Did Charles Manson Bray Wyatt meeting almost happen? Andrade back to WWE. Jericho gone from AEW. Anyway, what else happened on Smackdown? We got Jimmy Uso brawl with Drew McIntyre backstage. The brawl was in the ring, in the crowd, and backstage. And then Jimmy went backstage, told Adam Pearce to make the match. He said, "I don't want a match, I want a fight." And Pearce made the match official, no DQ. Match was alright. As I said earlier, Tama Tonga and JC Mateo defeated Ray Phoenix and Nakamura. They still got on no face paints. Dragunov celebrate winning the U.S. Championship. Jade Cargill attack. She unleashes a surprise attack on Tiffany Stratton. Kid Wilson causing Kamala Hayes on a toxic insanity with The Miz. Damian Priest cost out the Black title match against Dragunov, and then they brawled for a bit. Yeah, Jade Cargill turns heel.
I wonder if it should be the other way around. Although Jade could probably use the turn as well. Tiffany Stratton beaten up by Jade. Jade threw around the ringside area. Officials had to come out there. And they did announce a match for Saturday night's main event, championship match. Very interesting, because we are going to have a new champion, and now we got another title match where I really think that we need a new champion. Like, you're doing one more match with these two. Jade's a heel now. She has to get the title, right? I think it's a good idea to turn Jade heel. I just feel like it might be a better idea to turn Tiffany. But Jade, that bitch, is back. And she did cut a backstage promo basically saying she's looking to take power. So we'll see how this goes. I really think we need a title change, though. Otherwise, the heel turn's going to not mean much.
Yeah.
Shout out to Building.
Now, they already announced the massive for Sonic main event next Saturday. Jade Cargill and Tiffany for the Women's Championship. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. And Jey Uso and CM Punk to crown a new World Heavyweight Champion. Those are three matches that they announced for Saturday night main event. We'll wait and see what happens on those shows next week.
Nexus, who sent in a $2 super chat, thank you for that, Building Nexus, says, is it weird that the WWE title match has no stip? I guess you could say that since Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes already had a match. A match would have us, but it's also Saturday night's main event, and maybe they want to drag this out to Survivor Series. Who knows? But here's another match where Drew keeps losing and getting screwed, and it's part of his heel character, but at some point, he's got to win, right? And to me, Cody as WWE champion has gotten really stale. So I would not mind Drew winning the title, even if it's a short run. But are we going to have 3 title changes at Saturday night's main event? I mean, what are they going to do for this match? I mean, they could do a DQ. Is McIntyre going to get screwed yet again? Very interesting to me that we have all these title matches when it doesn't feel like an event that will have a bunch of title changes other than the vacant champion being the title for the vacant championship will be determined. Although that could end in some sort of a screw job too. Maybe a double count out and they stretch that out to Survivor Series. Who knows?
You haven't got the picture?
No, I waited for you to tell me when you're going to be there, and now we have a
day. That is it for us.
says Tanisha, thank you for joining. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. Like, just have Drew McIntyre own up to it instead of finding something out of, like, what didn't belong to whoever else. Like, that belongs to Drew McIntyre. That aspect of Jade spots being taken down, my opinion, should belong to Drew McIntyre. But thank you so much, Purple Political Breakdown, for the love and for coming here to the stream. I hope you have a good time, man. Oh, they're continuing the action in the back. Thing, you know, being a nice, strong, meaty wrestler on Smackdown. But MFT, man, they're just a little too dull for me. They need to ravage it up a little bit more. Big G says, I wouldn't mind if they just called him JC. I'm with it. I'm with it, man. JC, let's go. And then also, like, KLS brings up here Shinsuke and Phoenix, like, Shinsuke Nakamura and Rey Fenix are just, like, randomly teaming now. Like, you just can't automatically expect people to care about them as a team when we've never seen them team before. Hey, what's up, I don't know, but I like them. They're cute. What's up, you guys? They usually do their shows on Fridays, and so we'll see. Hopefully I fit into what I bought. Money redemption. I'm hoping that this one just... I think of it. Oh, God, I was racking my...
Alright. Here's just Alex. Jay Carlos, he'll turn that biscuit back. Yes, she is. Back to where she was in AEW. She first time she's here on WWE since AEW.
Feel comfortable. Do video call, do phone, or even chat. We live in a generation driven by social media. So more than ever, you have to make sure you're mentally okay. Especially with the pressures of not just everyday life, but also social media. So I encourage you all to take that first step by going to betterhelp.com.
Who doesn't love some Brucey bonus coverage? As I'm in commercial break, see you guys.
A prediction show for Saturday night's main event. Nah, for two reasons. Number one, it's Saturday night's main event, and number two, don't really have time in the schedule next week. Thursday's actually my wife's birthday, so we'll be doing something Thursday night, which would normally be the predictions night. I mean, I think when I do the Raw stream, I'll give my quick predictions for Saturday night's main event, or even next Friday's Smackdown Halloween stream. Maybe I'll give my predictions then. But yeah, I'm not gonna make a big production out of it. But thank you again, Dave, for the comment and the super chat. We had Carmelo Hayes interviewed backstage, and to Justin in the chat, happy birthday on Wednesday. That's also my wedding anniversary Wednesday. 29th is wedding anniversary. Thursday the 30th is my wedding.
Alright.
Wayday is back. Save up to 80% off everything home during Wayfair's big sale, starting October 26th.
Been feeling the support of the people. In other words, he's a babyface now, and he's going to get himself back on track. He was confronted by Kit Wilson, who confronted him, and Melo ended up challenging Kit to a match for next week. Something tells me he ain't done with The Miz. This is, once again, WWE Booking 101. I'm done with this guy. We're even.
Start with the end first. Should we talk about Big Jim? This is Jimmy Uso. Not everybody needs a nickname. And Drew McIntyre. You can't call him Big Jim when, like, you know, he's in there with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is like 100 feet tall and really big. So I feel like in the scale of bigness in WWE, he's not big enough to have, like, the big moniker. Big Bronson Reed, of course. That one makes sense, right? But I've been on this for a while. I feel like he should just be Jimmy Uso, just Jim, whatever you want to call him. But Big Jim, I feel feel like if you met him, like if he was your neighbor, you'd probably be like, that guy is, a bigger dude. But I feel like in the scheme of WWE, he shouldn't be Big Jim. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we have a lot that bookended the show with this Big Jim and Drew McIntyre. So let's get into all of it. Let's talk about this.
And Charlotte Flair accepting a challenge to face Bayley and Lyra Valkyria on Monday Night Raw. Then Nia Jax interrupted and challenged Alexa Bliss to a match for next week on SmackDown. Yippee. Again, we need Nia on Raw. Get her away from the SmackDown people, even though Alexa and Charlotte can really appear on any show. We then had our main event of the evening, Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso, no DQ. Pretty tame no DQ match, if I must say so myself. They brawled in the crowd a little bit. Jimmy pulled a table from under the ring, and McIntyre caught Jimmy coming off the apron and suplexed him on the floor. Then Jimmy countered the Claymore. He sent McIntyre into a chair that was set up in the ring, and then Jimmy used the chair on McIntyre. He set up the table, but then McIntyre regained the upper hand, and surprisingly, McIntyre went for the Claymore, but Jimmy countered it with a Samoan drop, putting McIntyre through the table. So the guy that set up the table actually got to put his guy through the table. That usually doesn't happen. They caught me off guard with that one. Now McIntyre was not down for long. Jimmy went up to the top, but then McIntyre threw a chair in his face, and then McIntyre hit the Claymore, got the 1-2-3 victory. No surprise here, McIntyre is not losing to Jimmy Uso before his title match at Saturday night's main event. Then we had the post-match attack. What is this, Dynamite? Post-match attack. He wrapped the chair around Jimmy's neck. Then we had officials come out there. Cody Rhodes, no surprise here, comes out at the end to make the save. But here's what annoyed me. So Cody, he attacks McIntyre. McIntyre goes over the barricade, and then Cody goes into the ring and checks on Jimmy, turning his back to McIntyre like a stupid idiot. And sure enough, McIntyre lays him out with the Claymore. Why was Cody so dumb to turn his back to Drew McIntyre? Really? Come on now. I thought that was really dumb. Made Cody look like a complete fool. And yeah, McIntyre stands tall, and that was the end of SmackDown. Did AI write this show? Just wondering. It was alright. SmackDown was okay, but this was, to me, the epitome of an average show. I had some issues with it, but there were some good wrestling moments on the show. I give it 5 out of 10. Very, very average, as far as I'm concerned. Not necessarily a show you need to go out of your way to watch. Shout out to Building Nexus. Thank you, Building Nexus, for the $2 super chat. Says, what are the chances Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre ends in a no contest? Well, let me say this. I will be surprised if all 3 of the title matches end with a decisive winner. I feel like we will get at least 1, if not 2, screwy finishes that will not result in a title change. So we'll see what happens, but I feel like they're going to drag out Cody and Drew to Survivor Series, which could very well mean we get another non-finish, like a count-out or a DQ, and they do one more match at Survivor Series. That's how I see it going down. I'd like to see Drew win the title. Like, if it was me, I'd have Drew win, and Cody could win it back at Survivor Series. You know, think back to like when The Rock and Mankind would go back and forth with the title a little bit, or even Edge and John Cena would go back and forth with the title a little bit, or Cena and Randy Orton. Like, it's okay to have a few title changes here and there. make it a little more interesting because, man, oh man, Cody as champion, it's starting to bore me to tears. So, what do you want to talk about? Opening SmackDown every single week. It's so stale. So yeah, this was kind of a boring, predictable SmackDown, but it did have its moments. That's all I got for tonight, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give this a thumbs up on NoDQ's YouTube channel. Spread the word about the site. Check out the latest news over at NoDQ.com. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I will be recapping NXT Halloween Havoc, so I will be back Saturday night for that. Stay tuned to the channel for that. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the show this weekend, Halloween Havoc. Say yes to No DQ, and I will see you all next time.
Well, they're going to that quicker than I thought they would. I said that a few weeks ago. I somewhat. I was in Tempe, Arizona, running a building that they have never run before.
Alright, hold on. I might want to do this over again. Ah. Ah, damn it. Ah. Ah. Hold on a second. Ah. Alright. Hold on. Alright.
Now, granted, they were supposed to wrestle, and that was supposed to be the Saturday Night Main Event match. It was supposed to be Drew McIntyre and Jacob. Like 2 commercial breaks, I hate that, but
Alright.
great regardless. And then Damian Priest had to come out, because of course he did. Damian goddamn Priest had to.
I need that to just be like epic clap out.
It's not all corporate and nasty for the Fightful Awards, so you're getting
Alright, alright. I guess I'll show this.
So Jimmy Uso, it looks so much a lot. I think that's pretty much maxed out at what it fits. But I was surprised. They usually don't run buildings that small, especially when they've been packing them in, for most of this year. Apparently, Salt Lake City is hosting Saturday night's main event next weekend. And the advance for that is not great. I don't even think they have 5,000 tickets sold, in a building where they could fit well more than double that. So maybe people are starting to send a message to WWE when it comes to these ticket prices. I don't know. But you would expect, it's a big show next weekend. We got a bunch of championship matches on there, and that's not good. Certainly by WWE standards this year, that's not good. This has not been a good week for Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso was eliminated from the Battle Royal on Raw Monday night, where he had the chance to become a number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event against CM Punk. Instead, Uso is going to that show, but it's the other Uso. It's Jey Uso who's going. And even though he saved his brother a whole bunch of times in the Battle Royal, he got dumped by Jey. So he was unhappy about that. And then he shows up on Smackdown tonight, trying to avenge what happened to his cousin, Jacob Fatu, last week when he got bloodied up and his teeth got all knocked out on the floor. And he's going to be out for a while. Not nearly as long as it was rumored. We'll probably have Fatu back by December, which would be great. But he was here for revenge. So he was in the main event tonight, as well as Monday night. Tonight it was a no disqualification match against Drew McIntyre, and that did not go well for Jimmy either. Jimmy comes out on the losing end of that, and all roads now lead to Cody and Drew for the WWE Championship at Saturday night's main event. So we know that's set. Ilya Dragunov last week made his return after more than a year out, and he beat Sami Zayn. Excellent open challenge match for the United States Championship. And I was hoping, please, let them continue the open challenge gimmick. It has been the favorite part of Smackdown for me every Friday night. And we found out tonight that, in fact, the open challenge, thankfully, is going to be continuing. And tonight, he had another very good outing, as he did with Sami last week. Not nearly as good as that, but tonight he was defending the title against Aleister Black. Speaking of people who have made their return, we have the return tonight of Jade Cargill. She's been out for several weeks. If you remember, she got that nasty gash on her face in the triple threat match with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton a few weeks ago. She was back tonight to make the save for Tiffany, and then she lowered the boom, and Jade Cargill takes out Tiffany Stratton. It was the heel turn that was much needed for Jade Cargill. She will be challenging Tiffany for her championship next weekend in Salt Lake City. And I suspect there we are going to get a title change. I don't see any reason to put these two back in the ring together unless they are going to do a title change. Otherwise, it just feels kind of pointless to me. But it's the right move to make. Jade, by the way, has a nasty scar right across her eyebrow. That was a hell of a gash that she had on her head a few weeks ago. I don't know if that thing's going to fully heal or not, but I will say, at least the way it looks right now, she looked pretty badass with it. Not the best place to have a giant scar right in the middle of your face, but she makes it work. But I was happy to see them at least switch her to the other side, especially if they were going to run this match back. It wouldn't have made any sense to do another babyface against babyface match between them. And honestly, outside of those two things, outside of the open challenge and outside of the Jade heel turn, a very average episode of Smackdown. It was a step down from what we've had the last few weeks. It really felt like there were some changes being made to the show, changes for the better. And, this week, it just felt like we took a step back. There's still much work to be done. There was no change whatsoever in the status of the women's United States champion. The men's United States championship is the best part of the show. The women's U.S. title, the situation with Julia, that still has yet to be addressed. That is still something that they need to work. Although Julia was on this show, but she didn't do a whole lot of really anything. This is your Friday Night Smackdown review. It is October 24th, 2025. I am the Solid Monster. Thank you for closing out another week with yours truly. I know there's a lot of sports competition tonight. Had a couple of friends at the Knicks game. They were sending me pictures from there. I think the the baseball game just ended, right? Or maybe it's trying to see, has it ended yet? Because I know that oh no, it has not ended. For some reason, I thought the Toronto game was ending. Apparently, it's only the 6th inning, and they are crushing it. Apparently, the Dodgers are getting spanked. Good. I'm not upset about that. So anyway, there's a lot of sports shit going on, but if you are with me tonight, thank you for doing so. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are climbing ever so close to 89,000 subscribers, and do you know what comes after 89? 90. But I can't get there without you. So hit that subscribe button, make sure notifications are turned on. Super chats are open as well. Always welcome. They always are very much appreciated here on the channel, and I will be reading all of your messages in just a little bit. So get them on in. There are some new donation amounts, including the new Rusev one. You can find all of those in the description down below. Yeah, I was just putting some notes down earlier today, getting prepared for episode 935 this Sunday, and I got a great question from someone that I got it, and it really got me thinking, and I was just jotting. Security poured out to break things up, but not before Jimmy got in a suicide dive on. You got 4 other guys here, and they just refuse to do anything. They don't do anything to address that. That's a big problem when it comes to this group, and I think it's a big part of why a lot of people just don't give a shit about the MFTs. So as long as that doesn't change, this is going to continue to be a miss for me, no matter how much makeup they want to put on their faces. And I should also point out with Nakamura, he was part of the Japan tour they just had last week, and he spoke, I believe it was to Tokyo Sports. And he told Tokyo Sports he wants to win a World Heavyweight Championship in WWE before his time in the ring comes to an end, which he says is coming very soon. He doesn't say he's going to retire next year, like AJ Styles is. But he says his time is nearing its end soon enough, and he really would like to win a World Heavyweight Championship in WWE, whether it's the World title, the WWE title, whatever it may be. I'll tell you what, though, if he's going to win a World title in this company, they got a lot of work to do. Because he's a guy, I know they just switched him back babyface, they got his old music back, he needs direction. I'm not even saying that even after all these years of just nothing, and being a background player, that they can't rehab him enough, even if it's like one last run, to potentially be a World Heavyweight Champion and get a short run. Could it happen? Sure, it could happen, but it's going to take a lot of work. I don't know the Triple H and the creative team. I don't know if they look at Nakamura in that way. I don't know if they see him as someone who they would like to invest in that way by putting a world championship on them. And I don't see him holding the WWE title, so if anything, it would be the World Heavyweight title, which is on the other show. So he's not in that category anymore in this company. So look, it's nice to have goals, and it's not as if you can't come up with an idea to give him that one last shot, trying to become a world champion. And I think the crowd could get behind it, but you've got to have the story there to support it. And there's just no indication that WWE is interested in doing that. Now, backstage, Jimmy Uso told Nick Aldis that everybody knows that McIntyre attacked Jacob Fatu. Everyone except this guy right here. For her sake that she gets the better. And then he reveals where Jimmy did a tightrope walk across the top of the barricade into, I guess, what was a splat. And to me, I feel a lot more confident about that. And we already know that we're supposed to crown a new World Heavyweight Champion on the Raw side. I'm not yet convinced that's actually going to happen on that show. But they're promising that we're going to have a new World Heavyweight Champion. It's just hard for me to imagine that if they crown a new World Champion, and if Jade Cargill beats Tiffany Stratton, that they're going to do a title change in the main event as well. Or what I presume would be the main event between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. I don't see all of these titles, ending up around, new wastes on that show. So I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure what they're going to do. This match was originally supposed to happen at Survivor Series. And it got bumped up because of the Jacob Fatu injury, so now we're getting it here on this show. They could extend it out to Survivor Series. I really don't see a reason for them not to do so because I'm not quite sure who Cody would defend the title against if not Drew McIntyre. So I stand by what I've said before, which is that I feel like McIntyre really should get at least a short run with this title. Maybe it doesn't happen next weekend. Maybe it happens at Survivor Series. You know, and maybe Randy Orton does reemerge between now and then, and maybe we end up with a triple threat. You know, but Drew has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And he said it himself on the show tonight in his promo. You know, and I've used this expression in the past. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. That's the story of Drew McIntyre's run in this company over the last 5 or 6 years. You know, since that COVID run that, you know, had no fans. And how many times are you going to have this guy go out there and get screwed and then show up on TV the next week and talk about how I was screwed? He's like the Bret Hart of this generation. How many times are we going to see that until you actually put the championship on it? I mean, how many more of these matches can he have and come up lame? So whether it's Salt Lake City or whether it's San Diego next month, I would put the title on McIntyre. I would let McIntyre even hold that title through the Rumble. Like, it doesn't have to be a quick one-and-done thing. I don't expect him to go into WrestleMania as a champion. But what do you have to lose? It would make things a little bit more interesting, right? I mean, honestly, in the big picture, it doesn't change much. Because if McIntyre wins the title, he's going to show up on TV, Cody's going to be chasing after him, maybe Randy. It's going to be the same people. Like, it's not going to be radically different. Like, oh, wow, they put the belt on McIntyre. Right, we're going to have the start of a new era now. Like, realistically, not a whole lot is going to change. But it would make things a little bit more interesting with Cody in the position where he has to chase to get it back. And McIntyre can finally say, he got it. You want it? Come take it. I would like to see it. I don't know what they're going to do. I just don't see all of these titles changing hands on that show. But this was a very average episode overall. The Dragunov match, the Jade heel turn, those were obviously the highlights. If they plan to make changes to the women's U.S. title situation, then we're still waiting to see those changes play out. Because Julia was on the show tonight. She was back on the show, but didn't do a whole hell of a lot. And when I talk about someone like Charlotte, I just use her as an example before. And doing, you know, a program with her and Julia, or even putting the belt on someone like her, it's not like, oh, Charlotte must have the title. But Charlotte is you know, the veteran on that women's roster who has been out of the world title picture now for a little bit, has credibility because she's been there for so long, she's won so many championships. Credibility that Julia does not yet have on this roster. Credibility that title does not yet have, as compared to the Intercontinental title on the other show. They need to level this title up very soon, and she's one person who could help do that. You know, I mean, you could always shake up the roster a little bit and move somebody over from Raw and have them in that position to, you know, feud with Julia. I'm just looking at this division and who could Julia even work with, you know, that's going to help elevate her to that level she needs to be at. You know, if she's working with people like, and I'm just using them as an example, Zelina Vega or, Michin and B-Fab, it's not going to do anything for her. It's not going to do anything for her. You look at Raw, Lyra had Becky to work with, and now Lyra's also working with Bayley, right? These women have been around for 10 years now. They have credibility. It helps someone like a Lyra Valkyria to be out there and working with these people. And you've got a lot of faces on Raw, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky and Asuka and Kairi and Bayley and Lyra, and my God, that's not even all of them. Smackdown is still in dire need of some new faces. Bianca coming back eventually, that will help, but it's going to take more than that. You know, Bianca's not going to be the savior. There are still major changes that need to be made here to this show. And I hope they make those changes very soon. Take a look at the poll. What did you think of Smackdown? From Tempe, Arizona. 70% thumbs up for tonight's show, 30% thumbs down. Although I don't know, the song he did, Challenge.
Every time we do a story, we have to ask the question, does it matter to you? I actually think Cheer Cody Rhodes. Live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Where Smackdown. He's just a great professional wrestler, and I think he's fantastic. All in all, this was a lame duck show. I want to start with the Jade Cargill stuff, as honestly, as far as events or happenings on the show, this is probably the most newsworthy of the evening. And as I see on social media, Triple H just announced legitimately, as of 3 minutes ago, Triple H has announced that Jade Cargill will now challenge Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship at Saturday night's main event. One night after she turns heel, because Tiffany Stratton has no other opponents and no other challengers. I have been very hard on Jade Cargill since the first day I saw her on AEW television. Obviously, she looks the part. She looks like she's sculpted from fucking granite. She looks like she could legitimately be a statue outside of the Roman Colosseum. She looks great. I think everybody with a set of fucking eyeballs could see that. Not many people look like her. Doesn't matter what you look like, in my opinion. If you can't get it done in the ring, if you can't cut it on the microphone, the interest level is just not going to be there. As far as a fan and watching someone like that in this sport, if you can't tie everything together to make it work in a complete package, it is just not going to generate interest. From the first day that we saw her, she generated, manufactured, right out of the factory, let's put her on TV because she looks like $1 bazillion. It's basically what it is. She didn't really do anything in AEW. Oh, but she held the championship for 54 straight defenses, JD. What title? A dead title that is now being held captive around someone who's parading around with 14 fucking titles. It doesn't mean anything. So much for that record was broken this past week. She has not tied it together in the ring. She's still very much, for lack of a better term, she sucks. And that's just me coming from a fan's perspective. I think there are a lot of people who think the same way that I do. Most of them are blinded because she looks like she's $1 bazillion. She can't cut a promo. She can't sell for shit. Half the time she doesn't know how to go from sequence to sequence and flesh out a match where it just seems like a seamless thing to do. Almost like watching an Olympic swimmer. They go from one end to the next, and then the next one comes in. It's like just watching poetry in motion, man. You don't skip a beat. There's not many people in the world of professional wrestling that could take a match and just let it flow. And it's like a piece of work, a work of art. Jade Cargill is certainly not that. Do we expect her to be that? Do we expect her to be as magnificent as Bret the Hitman Hart? No. No, I'm not expecting that. But after 4 years of watching this woman on national television, you'd think she'd be better off now than when she first started, and she's not. Let's be honest. The babyface thing did not work. Nobody believed in Jade Cargill from a babyface point of view. She spoke like a heel. She carried herself like a heel. Yet she's acting babyface and trying to win the fans over because she's got a lot of muscles. And they tried to pair her with Bianca Belair. They can't boo Jade Cargill if she's teamed with Bianca Belair. It was a narrative that they pushed to try and manufacture this woman in the wrong way. Nobody knew who she was. But they thought the best idea was to pair her with Bianca Belair, who everybody loves. They can't boo Jade Cargill if she's paired with Bianca Belair. That's for the simpletons. That's for the brain dead. The ones that suffer from brain rot every day. I saw right through what they were doing. I'm not going to cheer Jade Cargill all because she's standing next to Bianca Belair. I know why you did it, and I know what you were going for there. All because she looks like $1 bazillion doesn't mean that the fans are going to enjoy her because she's standing next to Bianca Belair. You gotta live up to who you're standing next to. And you didn't. And there was no way that you could. It was so fake that I had zero interest in anything she did, even teaming up with one of the best, if not the best, that the division has to offer. Now, I know she was given the red carpet treatment coming over from AEW, and WWE wanted to shove it in AEW's face, and they made a big deal about it. They made it seem like they made it seem like Otani was a free agent and the fucking Yankees signed him. Or not even Otani. That's a terrible example. She's nowhere near the greatness of Otani. It's like I'm gonna date myself here. It's like me being an Atlanta Braves fan, and the Yankees signed Mark Lemke to a fucking multi-billion-dollar contract to play second base for the New York Yankees. I'm sorry. I mean, all because he's going to a world-renowned franchise. He's all of a sudden now the best second baseman in the league, and I'm supposed to acknowledge this guy's existence now? I don't get it. It's exactly what Jade Cargill was given. A red carpet treatment, undeserved, and they were forcing her so much upon the fan base as this big deal, and she's proven not a single fucking thing in the realm of professional wrestling. Everything that they've done for this woman has backfired and worked in a negative way, and the fans' perception on Jade is because of WWE's doing. She's a manufactured product. They can't do anything else with her because she's not good at what we call professional wrestling. She's simply getting by on her looks. And if this is sounding a little bit too harsh for people, I'm sorry. If you want me to sugarcoat something, you got the wrong fucking show. Go listen to somebody else that's going to glaze these fucking athletes thinking that they could get into some sort of fucking relationship or some sort of partnership with these companies and these performers, and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. This is my point of view, this is how I feel, this is what I think, and if you don't like it, tough shit. Then tonight happened. She wrestled that triple threat match several weeks ago, which was a disaster with Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. That match where she ended up busted open and suffered a huge gash right above her eyebrow that needed several staples to close up. She looked like a warrior out there. That match with the botch finish, you guys remember. So that happened. Tiffany beat Nia. Jade was out of commission for a few weeks. And she comes back, and she's dressed in black leather pants with chains, and she's got this necklace around her neck with spikes on it, and she's got this crazy hair. And she's got this scar above her eyebrow from the incident that happened a few weeks ago with Nia Jax. She comes on out, she celebrates with Tiffany Stratton after Tiffany Stratton defeated Kiana James tonight.
Dearie, it's a beautiful place, but things do happen from time to time.
Something was going to go awry, and that's exactly what happened. Jade Cargill ended up turning heel on Tiffany Stratton. Beat the shit out of her, tossed her on ringside for a little bit, throw her over the announce desk, picked up the World Championship, eyed it, has made her mission now known to everybody. She wants the Women's World Championship. Do I think Jade Cargill is worthy of the Women's World Championship because now she all of a sudden turns heel? The answer is no. No, I do not think she is deserving of the World Championship. You went from one shitty situation into something now that hopefully works, and all of a sudden, because you changed presentation and you changed character, meanwhile, you went from one point to the next without actually wrestling for anything, you want me to believe that she is now worthy of the Women's World Championship? The answer is no. But a blind man can see where they're going here. Tiffany's World Championship reign is now in serious jeopardy because WWE clearly has their next big heel in the division. And when that big heel eventually wins the championship, it's a foregone conclusion that she will. I don't know if it's going to happen on Saturday next week or if it's going to happen at some point before the end of the year. When she wins the Women's Championship, there will be one woman who will come back, and that's exactly what they're aiming for at WrestleMania. It will be Bianca Belair against Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. You can see what they are going for and how they are scripting the women's division. All things aside, Jade Cargill sucked as a babyface. She played the role poorly because she wasn't a believable babyface. I did not believe her in that role. That was not somebody that I wanted to cheer. That is not somebody that I felt bad for. That is not somebody that I emotionally attached myself to from a viewer's point of view to a performer's point of view. I don't know how you could. The only people that were emotionally attached to Jade Cargill are the ones who were drooling over her Instagram pictures. Jade Cargill is now in the right role. Now she's in a role where I believe her. Now she's in a role that at any point when she speaks, I'm going to look at the real Jade Cargill. I'm going to look at Jade Cargill for who she really is away from television. The Jade Cargill that you got on television was trying to be somebody else. Actually, the Jade Cargill that we got before was Jade Cargill in real life, but trying to be someone else on TV. Now we're kind of getting into a situation where the Jade Cargill that we get in real life is the Jade Cargill that we're going to get on TV. And when you actually create a character in that sense, they are much more enjoyable to watch. And they are much more enjoyable to listen to. Again, does that mean she deserves the Women's World Championship? No. You gotta prove it in the ring. You gotta prove it to people like me. And we have not done that yet, and I doubt that they're going to do that between now and Saturday night's main event. What this also does, and many people won't be thinking about this, what this also does is now gives Jade Cargill an opportunity to maybe, I don't want to say enhance her ring work, but give her an opportunity to work a much different style. Instead of playing up the fans and trying to be fake and unnatural and be somebody that she's not, now she can work a heel style, which may actually benefit her lack of knowledge and ring awareness in the ring and her lack of skill in the ring. It opens her up to a world of new possibilities where she can now work heel, work a little bit more of a methodical style. You don't have to go out there and do flashy shit. You don't got to go out there and use your strengths to pop the crowd. You don't got to do any of that. You now control the narrative. You have these people in the palm of your hand, and you dictate what's going on. That's what a heel does. Make me dislike you. I think Jade is going to be very good at that. Make me want to see you lose. I think Jade Cargill is going to be very good at that. So I feel with this heel turn, I think it's WWE finally realizing after 2 years now, with Jade Cargill on the roster, where she needs to be and how we get her to the next level. Because if I'm WWE and I'm looking at the lack of growth from Jade Cargill with what we've seen so far, there is zero return on that investment. And the only reason why they signed her was to make AEW look bad. Ha-ha, look at us. We took one of your day oneers and we made her into a household name. They haven't. Hopefully this is the way that WWE finally gets her to that position. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's the way that I look at it. From my point of view,
She's going to be very good in this role. The other big thing that happened tonight was they at least told Jimmy Uso's story on Friday Night SmackDown. Carrying over from Monday Night Raw, he's upset that Jimmy's upset that Jay had betrayed him, quote unquote, in the Battle Royal, even though Jimmy on Monday Night Raw said that he's coming for everybody, including his brother, in the Battle Royal, and he will win the Battle Royal, even if he has to eliminate his brother. He said that directly to Jey Uso on Monday night, and then Jey Uso went right ahead and did what Jimmy was saying he was going to do. So why he's so upset at the end of the day, I don't know. But he feels like his brother betrayed him. And if you look at the Battle Royal, it almost feels like he did, because Jimmy actually saved Jay a couple of times from being eliminated in that Battle Royal, which he eventually won and now is the #1 contender and will challenge CM Punk for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. He came over from SmackDown. This is his show. He wants to get out there. He's got a chip on his shoulder now. But at the same time, he's also concerned for his family. Not only is he concerned for Jay, he's concerned for Jacob. He's concerned for Jacob Fatu. And he wants to know who attacked Jacob Fatu because that's his family. And he wants to find whoever did this and take it out on them. He feels like Drew McIntyre is the one who took out Jacob Fatu. I don't think Drew McIntyre is the one that took out Jacob Fatu. I don't. Drew McIntyre is basically playing the role of Kevin Owens in the role that Kevin Owens played in January. Everything that Kevin Owens said, Kevin Owens was true. And he was open and he was honest and he just expressed his truths. And he got people to boo him for it. But everything Kevin Owens felt was justified. Everything that Kevin Owens did was justified. Drew McIntyre feels the same way. Drew McIntyre, I think from a fan base perspective, I think Drew McIntyre has been royally screwed time and time and time again. And if there's somebody that's been undermined creatively all year, it's Drew McIntyre. So why wouldn't Drew McIntyre have a chip on his shoulder? Why wouldn't McIntyre express how he feels? We've seen it physically come upon him. He's been destroyed. He's been cheated. He's been robbed. He's been cast aside. Whether it's management, whether it's things that happen in matches with the referees, McIntyre's feelings are justified. So that's the type of heel that he's playing. And that's why I don't believe that Drew McIntyre is the one who attacked Jacob Fatu. I do think that it's going to end up being Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton is the guy who we've not seen on television. Inconspicuous has Randy Orton been. Not a single fucking mention, not an appearance on television. Drew McIntyre is not the guy who took out Jacob Fatu. Now, granted, they were supposed to wrestle, and that was supposed to be the Saturday night's main event match. It was supposed to be Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. They sped up the Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes feud to take place at Saturday night's main event and not Survivor Series. I just think that they went from one point to the next in the light of his dental procedure that he needs time off for, and have slowly twisted the story to incorporate Randy Orton. And I think we really need to start seeing a sense of urgency creatively at the top of the card on Friday Night SmackDown. We need some excitement. We need some unpredictability. We need something that's going to generate a buzz. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, as great as they may be, they're not generating a buzz. It feels stale. It feels like it's just going in one direction, very, very plain. There's no excitement. There's no peaks and valleys. It's just straight line. There's no ups and downs. There's no excitement. There's no unpredictability. This is WWE's opportunity to inject some life in the main event scene by turning Randy Orton heel. If they're not ready to turn Cody Rhodes heel, Randy Orton turning heel. And Randy Orton costing Cody Rhodes the WWE Championship at Saturday night's main event and giving Drew McIntyre an opportunity to walk around as the rightful WWE Champion, if at only for a month. The script does not need Cody Rhodes to hold the championship after just beating John Cena all the way through the rest of the year and all the way through WrestleMania season. If you want to do a title change, I think that is a healthy thing for the division, and I think that's a healthy thing for the WWE Championship and for Cody Rhodes. Nowhere does it say, oh, he won it, and he beat John Cena for it. He won it back at SummerSlam. Now we got to keep it on him. If you feel that the product is stagnant and stale and formulaic, unexciting and unpredictable, or predictable in this case, make it unpredictable. Do something that's going to throw a wrench into that system. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I would crown Drew McIntyre the WWE Champion at Saturday night's main event. And I'm in 100% agreement with anybody that thinks that. I 100% agree. Dragunov wrestled Malachi Black, or Aleister Black. Malachi, Aleister Black. U.S. title open challenge. Great match. We are not done with Damian Priest and Aleister Black on Friday night. And we had the MFTs wrestle Rey Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. No Wyatt 6. So WWE is certainly keeping us on our toes. 4 weeks to go before Survivor Series. What is the War Games situation going to be? I have no idea. I have no idea. But we'll get into this. I feel like it's going to be a very slow evening here on a Friday night. And we'll get through this Friday night stream as quickly as we can right here on Off the Script. It is your Friday, October 24th, 2025. Tonight we are sponsored by BetterHelp. Make sure you guys go and check out my sponsor tonight, BetterHelp. All you need to do is go to betterhelp.com/scripts. Take that first step today and get 10% off your first month using betterhelp.com/scripts. I pinned the link right at the top of the live stream chat, and it's right down in the description of this very video. I want to thank you guys for joining me here on this Friday night. I also want to thank my guy Grimm's Toy Show. Days are on the verge of an elimination. The Usos and Fatu, there was no Randy Orton, there was no culprit, no answers to attack Jacob Fatu, no Jay. So it's like, I get what they're going for, but it's not completely interesting because the other people that are much more interesting to this particular story are not there, and we have the least interesting of them all here on Friday night. I get where they're going, though. It could have War Games implications. It could. But that's the way Smackdown started, and that's the way the opening segment came to a close. McIntyre in the back. He argued with Nick Aldis about what just happened with Jimmy Uso, but again, use Freebird rules in this case, could come up with that story. If that is the story you're going to go with, oh yeah, they feel like this is their show, and the Wyatts are in their sandbox, or they're invading their front lawn. But why? What is the problem? What does Solo want with Uncle Howdy? What was Uncle Howdy going to want with Solo Sikoa? Why? You got to give me something. Especially if you're going to manufacture a possible War Games situation. You can't just throw both of these factions in War Games because that's it. There's 5 guys on one side and 5 people on the other side. Let's do War Games.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's just lazy. Has that been what the creative team has been reduced to? Yeah.
That?
Had to be a storyline.
Not much here. MFT's win over Rey Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura, and that was it.
Yeah.
Nothing was progressed, nothing was forwarded, no Wyatt 6. I don't know. Backstage, Jimmy Uso spoke with Nick Aldis. And our main event tonight, he wants a fight. Jimmy would be taking on Drew McIntyre in a no DQ match. Tiffany Stratton, from what I said about Jade Cargill in the open of this show, but it was a necessary change, something that was petty and a time not to be petty. I don't know exactly what happened with Karrion Kross and Scarlett outside of what we have been given, information-wise. Whether it was from Kross on an interview or a podcast after he was not brought back and they let his contract expire, or what Scarlett had said in regards to how she was feeling in the last days of her WWE run. I don't think this is the time or the instance to be petty. I don't know what Kross and Scarlett did that was so evil and so wrong to WWE that I feel in this instance, WWE is simply trying to make Aleister Black and Zelina Vega their new Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
Yeah.
Now, it could be simple optics. Maybe WWE did not want to bring back Karrion Kross and Scarlett and pay them what they wanted, which was probably more than what Black and Zelina Vega are making. Why have both of the same acts on different shows doing the same thing when we can get rid of one, save money, and just make Aleister Black and Zelina Vega the new Karrion Kross and Scarlett?
Yeah.
Because that's the vibe I get.
Yep.
And I think that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Because Kross said several times that this is where he wanted to be. This is where he wanted to call home. This is where he wanted to retire. And maybe the things that he did were against WWE creative, and he tried to push his own narrative, and he tried to make things happen away from WWE, which we all know WWE doesn't like when you try to get yourself over. Different administration, same mindset. Vince hated when you got yourself over because it wasn't in Vince's plans. And if you got yourself over and it wasn't the plan, then you were punished for getting yourself over. Sadly, Karrion Kross found out the hard way. Like father, like son-in-law. It sucks to hear that, and it sucks to say that, because I do think that there are vast differences between the two gimmicks and the two people. I don't know why they couldn't work together in some sense, if that's what you wanted to do. I don't know why we just so blatantly and actively replaced one with the other. Maybe it's just a monetary thing, and WWE didn't want two similar gimmicks on different shows when they could just have one, and they have one already locked in for a 5-year deal. We got these two, who are going to be locked here for a very long time. We don't need the other two, because we're just going to take what they did and give it to Black and Vega. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on. That same thing that I just described about getting yourself over, I feel like LA Knight at some point, someone in creative, someone in WWE management does not like LA Knight.
Yeah.
Sadly. I think they look at LA Knight as a pretender. I think they look at LA Knight as a throwback in the wrong kind of way. And I think LA Knight is looked at in a way where he's trying to do what others have done before him to try and get over, and it's not original, and someone is taking that out on him. Which is fucking ridiculous. But someone in management does not like LA Knight. Because there's no explanation at all why LA Knight continues to be a loser and is nowhere closer to a world championship after all these years of maintaining fan and crowd interest. If the fan reaction dictates, and if the fan reaction is a good indication of where you should be, LA Knight should be a world heavyweight champion by now. If Jey Uso can get over by fan reaction and be rewarded with a world heavyweight championship, why isn't LA Knight, who's a better in-ring worker and a better promo than Jey Uso, why isn't he rewarded with a world heavyweight championship? Unless it's not the right place and the right time for that to happen, and WWE is picking and choosing where they want to go with him. Maybe they have a calculated strategy for LA Knight that we're not seeing yet. But WWE creative has largely been awful this year. It's tough to give them that benefit of the doubt. It's got to be Bruce. Bruce Pritchard would be the first person I would think of. Absolutely.
Alright.
Triple H was the one who brought LA Knight back and gave him the gimmick.
Yeah.
And undid what Vince McMahon wanted to do. So it can't be Triple H.
Yeah, no way.
It's gotta be somebody else. But at the end of the day, Triple H is the one who makes the ultimate final decision. It's a collection of decisions. It's a collection of people there who are just absolutely stifling LA Knight. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's not LA Fatu.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he needs to be. He needs to get some tribal tattoos, and he needs to get,
Well, we'll end the video. I made it long enough, a little bit too long. Until next time, hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. And I'll see y'all later.